Hello, everyone, and welcome to Toronto Apologetics. My name is Tony Costa, and I'm going to be discussing this is one in a series of videos where I'm going to be discussing the subject of Christmas. There's a lot of questions about Christmas. Is Christmas pagan? Was Jesus really born on December 25th? And the whole issue with Christmas trees and the holly and the ivy and all these types of things we usually hear as we enter into the Christmas season, that these are things that come out of paganism, that Christians should really not observe them. So we'll be discussing some of those in the next couple of weeks as we enter into the Advent season, starting this coming Sunday. One of the things that we often hear is around this time when people say Merry Xmas instead of Merry Christmas. A lot of Christians think that this is an attempt to degrade Jesus Christ, and it's an attempt to remove his name. And you'll hear people say, put Christ in Christmas, and Jesus is the reason for the season. And while I would agree with that, there is a lot of misunderstanding in this particular area. In fact, there's nothing wrong with saying Merry Xmas. That's not really should not be an insult to Christians if we have a proper understanding of the history of Christianity. One of the things I wanted to share with you is the fact that if we look into the history of this type of language, and I want us to consider today Xmas versus Christmas, I hope that after I'm done here today, you will come to appreciate the fact that even if people do have an intention to try to remove the word Christ out of Christmas, God does have a great sense of humor, in the sense that the capital letter X actually stood for the name Christ in ancient Christianity. And so when we consider what is called the Christ monogram in the ancient church, this was a symbol for the name Christ. And it's composed actually of two Greek letters. The X there in the center is known as the chi, and the what looks like the letter P is actually the rho. It's the R sound in Greek. And so this monogram stands for Christos, which is the Greek word for Christ. And so when early Christians saw this, they knew that it meant Christ. It was a reference to Christ. And we also know that at a very early period, people would start using that monogram, sometimes called the chi rho. And there you'll notice the X again in the center, and you'll see the P there. And in this particular depiction, you'll see the word Christos again for Christ. You also notice on both the left and the right side, you've got these weird looking symbols. Well, that's actually the alpha and the omega. That's actually the first letter of the Greek alphabet, the alpha. The last letter of the Greek alphabet is the omega. And so the first letter alpha, you should know that from the English word alphabet. This refers to Jesus Christ as the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the alpha and the omega, the A and the Z. And if you're Canadian or part of the Commonwealth, the A and the Z. And so here you have this depiction. This was very common in Christian burial plots. It was very common in finding this in Christian sarcophagi, or the sarcophagus, another name for a tomb where Christians would be placed in. And so as you can see, the X there, the chi, where we get the CH sound, was an ancient representation for Christ. It was something like an abbreviation. And if we look at one of the manuscripts that we have, this is from the Gospel of Mark. This is actually the beginning of the Gospel of Mark. And I want you to notice that it begins by saying the beginning of the Gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, if you look at the second line from the top, you don't have to know Greek to know what I'm going to tell you now. If you look on the second line from the top, that is where you have what looks like a letter A on the far left. If you look in the second line, you'll notice there's this straight line written over a number of letters. And what you see there, those lines on top of those letters, this indicates what's known as a nomina sacra, or in the plural, nomina sacra, which means sacred names. And what that means is that whenever they would refer to Jesus, they wouldn't spell out his name in full, like the name Jesus, and they wouldn't spell out the name Christ in full. So what you have here is the line, the first line is over what looks like an I and a Y. That's the word, that's the name Yesu, that is Jesus. And then if you notice on the second line, you'll notice there's a line over what looks like an X and a Y, which is Christou, which is Jesus Christ. That is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so you'll notice that when early Christians would read this in the Greek language, and they saw the capital X, and they saw a line over it connecting it to another letter, they automatically knew that this was a reference to Christ. This is how they would say Christ. They would use these abbreviations, or what's called, again, nomina sacra. So as you can see, this idea of using these abbreviations is nothing new. It's been around for a very long time. And so the irony here is that when people, if they do have malicious intent in trying to remove Christ out of the word Xmas, what they don't realize is that to the ancient Christians, the X was actually the abbreviation for Christ. And so whether you have Christmas or Xmas, at the end of the day, Xmas is just short for Christ. And so I hope that this video has been helpful to you. As I said, there will be more videos forthcoming dealing with questions related to Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please join us for other ensuing videos that will be coming down the road. If you have not done so already, we would encourage you to register or subscribe to this channel. The subscription is absolutely free, and you will be alerted whenever there's a new video that has been posted. So please subscribe, like the video, and look forward to seeing you in follow-up videos. Take care, and God bless you. And remember, Merry Xmas, Merry Christmas. Bye for now.